Ash body and maple neck for 92 bucks plus shipping. Plus it's an awesome mod platform, except when it's not. The Harley Benton TE30 this week on Learning Curve. So about a year ago, before I started this show, I was watching a lot of gear videos and the name Harley Benton came up a lot. If you're not familiar, Harley Benton is the house brand of Thomann, which is a German guitar store, kind of like a Guitar Center from what I understand. And their house brand, Harley Benton, is known for making really high quality instruments at really affordable prices. Also, the idea had been put in my head that if you develop the know-how, you can buy an inexpensive mod bass guitar, a guitar to use as a bass, not a 4-string boom boom boom, but a guitar to use as a platform, and then upgrade everything so you'll get a really cool guitar at a way cheaper price. Again, the internet was raving about the Harley Benton TE30, so I drank the Kool-Aid, I dove in, here's what I got, and here's how it turned out. So shipping was 30 bucks. One thing to remember about Thomann, you can ship multiple guitars for that $30 shipping fee, okay? So with shipping, everything came out to about 130, just under 130 bucks. It took maybe a week or two to get here. So now I've got an ash body and a maple neck. Now a comparable Squire would have a basswood body, and from everything I read on the internet, ash is better than basswood. That is not how the internet put it. The internet would like to kill basswood and its family and leave its body in an unmarked grave. I have left an article in the description that will show you how profoundly people feel about basswood. Now, if you have a basswood guitar, it's probably fine. Does it make guitar noises? Yeah, it's probably fine. As long as it makes guitar noises, don't worry too much about it. Anyway, according to what I found on the internet, they said ash was the way to go, so I listened to the internet. It's a nice looking classic Tele. It is very similar to the color of the new Jimmy Page signature models that Fender just released if you want to go buy some mirrors. It does have a pearl pickguard on it, and that is a point of contention. My wife really likes the pearl pickguard, and there are fans of the pearl pickguard, and I am not one of them. But I will get back to the pickguard later. If I'd known I was going to make this video when I bought this guitar, I would have been paying much closer attention to it. So I can't give you too great of a review of what the guitar was like fresh out of the box. I will say, as I mentioned, the ash body is solid. The color is good. The neck I like quite a bit. It's got a 9.5 inch radius. It's thick. It's kind of chunky. The frets are, for a $95 guitar, great. When it gets humid, the high E string sometimes gets caught on a burr. I realize I could either learn how to fix that myself or take it to somebody to fix it. I haven't done that yet. If that's your only problem at this price point, I think you're doing okay. So again, I can't give you too good of a review of the guitar right out of the box because I bought this guitar to mod it. I had built a guitar the previous year, and I wanted to take some of the stuff that I had learned and apply it to this. So I got a little mod happy before I gave everything on the Harley Benton stuff a fair shake. I didn't necessarily change things because they were bad. I changed them because I wanted to change them. I had an idea in my head of what I wanted, or at least with the information I had gathered from the internet, I had an idea of what I felt would be appropriate changes to make to this guitar. So again, I didn't necessarily change things because they were bad. I changed things because these were things I wanted to change. So this is no critique on Harley Benton stock components. I did a lot of reading on mods that people suggest for not just this guitar, but for Teles in general. And the first thing a lot of people suggest you do is swap out the standard barrels for compensated barrels, which I did quickly. I didn't swap the whole bridge because I didn't feel like there was a need to swap the whole bridge. I just swapped out the barrels, and I didn't even change the arms. I just unscrewed the barrel and screwed the new barrel on. I went with Wilkinson compensated vintage brass saddles to replace the original stainless steel saddles. Now, again, I don't know how the old saddles held up, but the new ones work great. My intonation is fantastic. They say there's a difference between the sound of brass and the sound of stainless steel, and I honestly didn't check. So, yeah, there is, and it's way better. So, yeah. But I am happy with these Wilkinson saddles. Now for the tuners. I've heard multiple people suggest that it is a good idea to swap out the stock tuners. To be fair, I didn't really give them a chance because, in my defense, the guitar store in the town I lived in was closing, and they had stuff on sale, and I wanted to support them. So I bought a set of vintage Grover tuners, and I installed them, and I like them. I had to drill a couple of holes in the headstock, no big deal, relatively easy swap. They hold their tune great. Of course they do, they're Grovers, they're famous for that. I was turned on to roller string trees on a previous mod. The idea is that they cut down on the friction between the string and the string tree because they got that little roller deal on it. They were $6. I got them on Amazon. They're very easy to install. I think I had to widen the hole on the headstock to put these in. Very easy to do. Not a problem at all. I'll put a link in the description for the ones that I bought. The ones I bought are called Greenten roller string trees. They're $6.95. They're on Amazon. I'll put a link below. I think they do a great job. So far, all the mods I've done have been about intonation and string stability. I do also add a little pencil lead, or if you want to be fancy, graphite to the nut. I don't know enough about nuts to tell you if you should change the nut or not. I tried to change a nut once. It did not work out. I don't screw around with nuts at this point. Maybe 2020 is the year when I learn how to crown frets and file nuts, but as for now, I don't have a problem with this nut. I keep graphite in it. That seems to keep everything sliding through just fine. If you want to change the nut, I guess that's on you. I used copper foil tape to shield under the pickguard in the cavity where the pickups go and in the cavity where the electronics go. It costs $18. Excuse me. It cost $11 for like 18 feet of the stuff. It cuts out on electric noise. It keeps everything a little bit quieter. It's an easy mod to do, and it takes like 5 minutes. As I've mentioned about a million times, this show is called Learning Curve. It's about trying things and finding out what you like. I don't think there's anything wrong with the pickups in this guitar. The original ones were fine. I didn't have an issue with them. However, I had just really fallen in love with Strat neck pickups and the sound of Strat neck pickups and the idea of putting a Strat neck pickup in a Tele. And I had just seen a guy with a bridge single coil size humbucker in his Strat, and it sounded great. And I liked that idea a lot. And again, I bought this guitar specifically because I wanted to experiment on it. I wanted to try things. I wanted to change things around. I just watched a video that I will put in the description comparing inexpensive pickups to expensive pickups. And his basic takeaway was, there's some pretty good inexpensive pickups out there. And, you know, I'm not playing Dodger Stadium. I'm playing in my living room. And sometimes at comedy shows. So, hey man, for $20, if it sounds cool, I'm gonna do it. For the neck pickup, I went with what was at the time a $16 pickup, what is now an $18 pickup. It is a Guitar Madness ceramic neck pickup with extra wide pull pieces. Why extra wide pull pieces? Well, to quote Jesse Pinkman, magnets, bitch. The fat pull pieces are supposed to give you a fatter sound. Also, Prince has a Strat pickup in his Tele, and so does David Gilmour. So basically, I am exactly like them. Exactly. The single coil sized humbucker I was trying to emulate was a Little 59. But Guitar Madness does not make a knockoff Little 59, so I went with a Hotrails Alnico 5. My thinking was this will give me a wide range of tones without having to break out the router that I don't really know how to use. The neck pickup gives me a nice, clean, bluesy sound. It dirties up nicely. The bridge pickup is bright and poppy, and it can handle heavy distortion really well. So I can cover a lot of ground with this guitar. And that's for less than $30 in pickups. If you're into guitar modding, you might have learned by now that there are different sizes of pot shafts. And sometimes that difference is super important, like when you're using a metal Telecaster control plate and you don't have the right tools to make the hole bigger. So I had to replace the control plate because the pots that I had were Asian small shaft and I needed the bigger American shaft for the Bourns 500s that I was going to install. I like Bourns 500s because they have a nice taper to them. I think they sound good. Those are the two reasons. They have good taper. They do what they're supposed to do. I don't like it when pots just become like an on-off switch. You know what I mean? Like you have volume and then you have no volume. That drives me nuts. I want to be able to swell, and I also like the tone control to be able to do that kind of wah-wah thing, you know? Now, because I'm using a humbucker and a single coil, I also had to figure out a way to balance those two things out. There was an entire video about it. The link will pop up somewhere. It's on the screen. If you click on the thing, you fix that by using a resistor. Again, I've got a whole video about it. But yeah, you put a resistor between the single coil and the volume pot, and now you have balanced pots. I used an Orange Drop 22 UAF for the capacitor, like just standard issue. One last thing about the control plate, I flipped it around. This is a mod a lot of tele users do. This way, the volume knob is under my pinky, and I'm not accidentally switching pickups when I'm strumming. This move was invented by a guy named Wilkinson. He was in a band called Commander Cody and his Lost Planet Airmen. He wrote the rockabilly hit Hot Rod Lincoln. Check him out. There's an article about him in the description. I also switched out the output jack. I don't know if the output jack was particularly bad, but I did have a pure tone full output jack from a previous build, and those are super grabby, so I decided to use it. Here's the thing. As I mentioned before, I did not like the pearl pickguard. I thought it was kind of mayonnaise-y looking at best. Maybe Prel shampoo. So I decided I wanted to make a new one. You would think you could go to the Thomann website and buy a Thomann pickguard to put on a Harley Benton, but you cannot. And they know this. I've attached a video in the description explaining that deal. Now, because of copyright, the bodies are a little bit different than a Telecaster. So if you buy a standard Telecaster pickguard thinking it's just going to fit, it's not. And there's an amount of filing you can do to make it fit, but the one I bought, there was no amount of filing that was going to make it fit. So I figured I'll just buy a sheet of pickguard material and cut it by hand because I'm so capable. And what I learned from that was that I'm not. It looked like garbage. So I had to bite the bullet. I had to call my dad because he's got tools. He's got a bandsaw and he's got the know-how. Hopefully you have a friend like that. I believe there's places where you can rent a bandsaw if you're that into it. I also know there are places that will make you a custom-made pickguard, but you're going to spend a couple of bucks on it. Basically, all I did was take the old pickguard that came on the guitar, taped it to the piece of plastic, traced it with a magic marker, and then shipped it out. And then my dad cut around the outlines, sent it back. I had to file the hole for the neck pickup just a little tiny bit, but it came out fine. I think it looks great. I'm so much happier with it than I was with the pearl pickguard. And now I know better. So that's cool. Oh, and by the way, a sheet of pickguard material, you can get it for like 11 bucks. You can spend a lot more if you want to, and there are some really cool designs. If that's something you're into, look around a little bit because they're making some ridiculously cool stuff. But for me, I just wanted a simple black pickguard, and I got one, and I like it. I got a little bit of a belly, and they invented a thing for that. It's called a belly cut. Telecasters don't have them. When Leo Fender invented the Strat, he put that belly cut in there to address the issue that this thing could use some curves. Now, this may or may not be a popular idea, but it's a $92 guitar with some mods. Maybe it's getting close to $150, $200. But it's also my guitar. I didn't buy it to sell it. I bought it to play it and to use it. So what I did, I went online, I Googled how to put a belly cut in a guitar. I found a video, and I did what they said. I just traced out the outline, and then took a file to it, and then sanded it down. And then I used this technique to finish a previous guitar, and I'll again, the links are in the description. But you combine oil paint, polyurethane, and mineral spirits, and you use it you rub it on and you get a finish out of it. If I had applied more coats, I could have made it much darker, but I'm happy with the way it turned out, and to be honest with you, it is really comfortable. I really like a good belly cut. So there it is, and if that offends you, go buy your own guitar. It's not my problem. Now, the last thing I did came about because of an accident. And to be honest with you, I was looking at ways to put a design on the guitar body. I was looking at doing water seal and a couple of other different painting techniques. But when I was working on the pots, the soldering iron slipped and it burnt the guitar body in a way that I really liked. And I'm like, oh, well, let's do wood burning. So I went online and I did some wood burning research. If you want to learn wood burning, you have to learn it from a kid who is probably 16, maybe 17, and really knows his way around wood burning. But it's a little humbling to watch this kid go. He really knows his stuff. Then I had to pick a design, and I wanted something, that had some sort of meaning, and that was visually interesting. I didn't go with like an Asian symbol or an African symbol or like an Egyptian symbol, which I almost went with the Eye of Ra. But all of that does seem a little bit like cultural appropriation, and I'm Norwegian. So we also have symbols, so I can rip off my own history instead of somebody else's. This is called the Helm of Awe. It's from Norse mythology. It's a circle of tridents protecting a center. It symbolizes protection and victory. As a Norwegian, I felt like I was entitled to use this symbol. Here's the thing, I did a little reading on it, and there are hate groups that have appropriated Norse symbology, and I don't support that at all. And the Norwegian government has asked them to stop, and I'm asking them to stop too. But please know, this is in no way affiliated with anything like that. This is just something from my history that I thought was cool looking, and I like protection and victory. Those are good things. Now here's the thing with wood burning too, and again, I tend to jump in when I decide to do something. If you're going to do this, maybe try something on the back first to see if you like it and to see if it's something you're capable of. I did practice on a piece of wood just to get a feel for it. To lay down the design, I taped a piece of carbon paper to the guitar. Then I printed the design off of my computer. I traced the design with a pencil onto the carbon paper. That left a carbon imprint on the guitar. And then I just followed the carbon with the wood burning tool. And boom, there you have it. Okay, so that's me. That's my TE30. That's what I did to my TE30. I'm really happy with my TE30. I play it pretty much every day. It's a great guitar. I'm very excited about other Harley Benton products down the road. I would definitely buy another guitar from them. I think they're doing interesting stuff, and they have new stuff coming out right now that looks very cool. If you like this episode, please subscribe, please share, please like. We are also on Instagram now. Please follow me there. My name is Spencer Dobson, and this has been Learning Curve.